डेफिनेशन ऑफ अ रेजिडेंट। एक रेजिडेंट कौन होता है, ये डेफिनेशन आपकी सेक्शन 2 सब सेक्शन 42 में दी गई है। एंड द वे दिस डेफिनेशन रीड्स इज एज अंडर: रेजिडेंट मीन्स अ पर्सन who is resident in India within the meaning of section 6। ये डेफिनेशन अगर आप देखें तो काफ़ी सिंपल है, बिकॉज इसमें केवल ये बोला गया है कि रेजिडेंट मीन्स मतलब एग्जॉस्टिव है, यानी सेक्शन 6 में जो पर्सन को आप रेजिडेंट बोलते हैं अगर वहाँ पर रेजिडेंट हो गया तो ठीक है, अदरवाइज वो रेजिडेंट नहीं होगा इन सो फार एज द इनकम टैक्स एक्ट इज कंसर्न। बट रेजिडेंट का मतलब क्या है? इट मीन्स अ पर्सन। पर्सन कौन हुआ? The 7 categories that we had discussed. So if you are falling under any of those 7 categories, who is a resident in India? And when are you a resident in India? That is something which is given within the meaning of section 6. In section 6, if you are a person, if you are resident in India within the meaning of section 6, then you will qualify as a resident, which means we need to look at section 6 to find out who all will be considered as resident for each of the 7 categories covered in the definition of a person. Now the next question which comes up is, resident is fine, what is a non-resident? A non-resident means, and this definition is given in section 2 subsection 30, a person who is not a resident. So if after looking at section 6 we conclude that you are not a resident, then you are a non-resident, right? And for the purposes of section 92, this section deals with transfer pricing. Section 93 deals with transfer of certain income to avoid taxes. And section 168, this is the case where an executor is appointed on the estate of a deceased person. इन तीनों सेक्शन के लिए includes a person who is not ordinarily resident within the meaning of clause 6 of section 6. So what happens is that if I have to prepare this, the taxpayer can be divided into 2 categories: individuals plus HUF and others. And this classification is only for the purpose of this explanation. An individual and HUF can be resident, they can be non-resident. Within resident, individual and HUF can be what we call resident and ordinary resident, or resident but not ordinary resident. Insofar as the others are concerned, they are only resident and not non-resident. They do not have the criteria of ROR or RNOR. Now if I look at this particular definition, what it states is that a non-resident means a person who is not a resident. मतलब अगर आप यहाँ पर फॉल करते हो तो ठीक है, अगर आप यहाँ नहीं फॉल करते तो आप नॉन रेजिडेंट हो। इन सब केसेस में, ये कौन से केसेस हैं? कंपनी, फर्म, एओपी, बीओआई, आर्टिफिशियल जुरिसडिक्शनल पर्सन, ऑल दोज केसेस इफ यू आर नॉट अ रेजिडेंट, यू आर अ नॉन रेजिडेंट। लेकिन इंडिविजुअल और एचयूएफ के केस में भी ये सेम रूल अप्लाई करता है विद वन एक्सेप्शन। अगर आप रेजिडेंट नहीं हो तो आप नॉन रेजिडेंट हो इनकम टैक्स एक्ट के प्रोविजंस के लिए, लेकिन सिर्फ इन 3 सेक्शंस में, इवन इफ यू आर अ रेजिडेंट बट नॉट ऑर्डिनरी रेजिडेंट, विच मीन्स यू आर फॉलोइंग हियर इन दिस कैटेगरी, देन ऑल्सो यू विल बी ट्रीटेड एज अ नॉन रेजिडेंट। आई होप दिस पॉइंट इज क्लियर. Let me put it once again. For taxpayers other than individual and HUF, including companies and all, if you are not a resident, you are a non-resident. Even in case of individual and HUF, for the entire Income Tax Act, if you are not a resident, you are a non-resident. Only for the purpose of these 3 sections dealing with transfer pricing, avoidance of taxes under section 93 and section 168 for executors. If you are also a resident but not ordinary resident, then also you will be treated as a non-resident.